Federal just came out with a brand new Waterfowl load. How does it stack up against their existing line of Waterfowl ammunition? What's inside and how does it perform? We're gonna get into all of that right now. You ready? Let's go. Ammunition is one of those things where it's rather interesting because how do you tell the difference? Here's the new Federal ULTRASTEEL. Here's Federal's Speed-Shok. And here's Federal's Black Cloud. Other than color, they look very similar. So when it comes to ammo, what really makes a difference? What makes a standard from a premium, different price points? We're gonna get into all that today. We're gonna explore the options, the price points, what's inside. We're gonna put them all on paper so you can make a decision what's best for you. And honestly, we don't care. As long as you make the decision based on information that makes sense for you. It could be ULTRASTEEL, Speed-Shok, or Black Cloud. They all are different price points. They all have pros and cons. So this is all about helping you make the right decision. That's the goal. So let's start with the ULTRASTEEL. So what is ULTRASTEEL? ULTRASTEEL is a zinc plated steel shot with the flex control wad, same wad that's in Black Cloud. So wads make a difference, so they say, and I believe they do, and we'll shoot paper and that will tell us part of the story. But plating the shot with zinc helps them not be so susceptible to corrosion. So you're not gonna get rusting or pitting on your BBs, which I don't know how big of a deal that is anyways. If you don't store your ammo properly, if you take it out in the blind and some stuff gets wet, you could have that problem. Of course, if your BBs are pitted, they're not gonna fly as true. The other thing that's a little bit different with ULTRASTEEL is there's an option for stacked loads. So here on the bottom, we actually have 2-shot, and on the top we have 4-shot. That is not an option in the Speed-Shok. And we'll get to Black Cloud in a second, but there's 2 different types of BBs in Black Cloud as well. So that flight control wad, it flares out on the back side. So these fins flare out from the shot, which I think would give it more of a stabilizing factor, and it will help keep the shot in the wad longer. That's my hypothesis. Versus we go to the Federal Speed-Shok, we'll just look at their wad in comparison. That opens from the front side, right? So a lot of standard wads open on the front like this. And I think what's gonna happen there is your shot is gonna open up quicker. And I don't know that these will fly as true out of the muzzle as these open up if one fin opens a little further. I kind of thought about this a little bit, and it's like shooting an arrow. If you put the fins or the vanes of an arrow on front versus on the back, it's gonna stabilize better on the rear. That's a hypothesis. A lot of this stuff is hard for the average person to test or prove. I think it's even hard for most of the manufacturers to prove, other than seeing some results on paper or with very expensive slow-mo cameras. If you would like to sponsor our channel and help us get a Phantom camera, contact us. We'll work out the details. The shot is different, it's coated. The wad is different. Those are a couple of the big items. And then the stacked load option. That's different in the ULTRASTEEL. ULTRASTEEL is gonna fall in a price point just below Black Cloud. Black Cloud is $44.99, MSRP anyways. You might be able to find it less than that. $44.99 for Black Cloud. Whereas the ULTRASTEEL is $42.99, so a couple bucks cheaper. And then the Speed-Shok considerably less at $27.99. So the last one we have to hit on is the Black Cloud. So the Black Cloud has been very popular over the years. There's 60% plated or coated steel shot, followed by 40% flight stopper pellets. They're not perfectly round and they have a ridge around them. So the idea is more terminal damage to the bird, 2 different shot sizes, which in my mind is probably gonna extend your shot string because they're not gonna fly the same. You're gonna get more drag and resistance on the flight stopper. Same thing is true with a stacked load from the ULTRASTEEL. 2 different sizes, so 2 different weights coming out at the same velocity. I think that will stretch over time, and that's not always a bad thing. If we think about shot strings, this has been heavily debated for a long time. I'm not telling you I have the right answer, but we wouldn't want to shoot a flat shot string. If a bird's coming through and we shoot a flat shot string and we're in front of that bird, the bird's flying this way, flat shot string, if we're off at all, you're gonna miss it. But if you're on, you're gonna put a lot of pellets on it. But if we lengthen the shot string, say we elongate it this way and it's coming through and we shoot in front of that bird coming this way, even if we're a little ahead, part of that shot string is gonna catch. So obviously a pancake shot string, not ideal. And then stretching it, there's diminishing return, right? If we stretched it out 100 yards, obviously that wouldn't be ideal either because we'd have 1 pellet per 10 yards, something like that. Put your comments down below on shot string. What do you know? What's your hypothesis? What's your opinion? Put it down below. I'd love to see it. So is it a good thing? Stacked loads, they've been around for a while. They kind of disappeared for a while, but I guess the market was asking for them. I like the concept in the ULTRASTEEL, the stacked loads. 2 different shot sizes. The smaller the shot, the more BBs you can have. So we got some bigger ones in there that are gonna really put that damage on the bird, and we got smaller ones in there to fill in a pattern, get more pellets on. So it's kind of a hybrid load, right? You don't want too small of pellets, but you don't want too big of pellets because then you just don't have very many. Pros and cons there. Same thing with the Black Cloud. The pro of the Speed-Shok is value. $28 a box, quite a bit more for these other rounds. So we've kind of looked at what's inside, how the wads work differently. The hulls are not that much different. Primers might be slightly different between the two, but it's hard to really show what difference that makes. Better quality with these two, but is it significant? Let's put some shots on paper. Let's take a peek at this and see what they look like. I think we're gonna shoot the Black Cloud and the Speed-Shok. We'll look at those and then we'll shoot the ULTRASTEEL. Part of what ULTRASTEEL is supposed to do is have a tighter, hotter core, right? So if that's important to you, it's still gonna have good pellet distribution, but it'll be hotter in the core. I don't know if that's true. That's why we do these videos. That's what I was told. And I believe the people at Federal, they put a lot of testing into this. One thing they found in their testing is that if they put the smaller pellets at the bottom versus the top, if they put the 2s at the bottom of the load, they get better patterns than if they put the 2s on top. I forgot to mention that in the ULTRASTEEL, it's 1,450 feet per second. It's available in 12 gauge and 20 gauge. Speed-Shok is 1,450 feet per second. Black Cloud has 2 different offerings in multiple gauges, but as far as velocity, they have the standard 1450, but you can also, as we have here, the high velocity, you can get 1,635 feet per second. So if you're looking for the higher speeds, you can get that in the Black Cloud, but not the other ones, I believe. So a little bit difference in the offering there. Also, ULTRASTEEL is available in the stacked with the 2 different shot sizes, or it's available in 1 single shot size as well. You don't have to do the stacked loads. Let's go with the Black Cloud. We'll shoot the left target first. That's the Black Cloud. Now we're gonna shoot the Speed-Shok on the right target. Now we're shooting at 30 yards. We have a mod choke in, Carlson mod choke for waterfowl, and we chose the Mossberg 940 because when we did a video where we shot a whole bunch of guns, this seemed to shoot the truest, and I believe in that video we were actually shooting the Speed-Shok. So let's go check those out, then we'll shoot the ULTRASTEEL, see how it compares. So we got these turbo targets. These are really cool because we shoot it, we take a picture, and then we have an app that analyzes it. So first thing I noticed, Black Cloud, we had 141 pellets. My pattern was 4.4 inches to the left and 1.4 inches high. And I don't even need to circle that to see it, but you can see that kind of the right side of my pattern is here. I mean, that doesn't say a lot about the ammo. It might have been my trigger pull, might have been the shot. You really want to shoot 3 to 5 to get some true readings. If we drew a 30-inch circle from the center of the pattern, which is somewhere over here, right, for example, 82.3% of those pellets were within that 30-inch circle. That's 124 pellets, pretty good. In a 20-inch circle, if we were to shrink that down, 54.6%, that's 77 pellets, adequate. And then a 10-inch circle from the center of our pattern, just a 10-inch circle, we had just under 20%, 19.9, 28 pellets. Okay, great. How does that compare to the Speed-Shok? On paper anyways. Well, the Speed-Shok, we have more pellets. With the Speed-Shok, we have 156 pellets, 141 versus 156. So when we shot this, we were again left and again high. Not as much. Don't know if that's ammo, if that's a gun, choke combination, that's where it gets complicated. But as you can see here, if we were to draw it, it's a little bit more true. A little bit left, a little bit high. 30-inch circle, 80.1%. We were 82% over here. So we got more pellets in a 30-inch circle, but a higher percentage over here. So that's looking pretty good. In the 20-inch circle, we got 51.9%. Over here, we got 54%. So Black Cloud is doing better as far as percent in that 20-inch circle. But we still have more pellets, 81 here versus 77. Then we go to the 10-inch circle. This is where it gets interesting. In the 10-inch circle on the Speed-Shok, we had 21.2%, 33 pellets, which outperformed the Black Cloud. The Speed-Shok had more pellets within a 10-inch circle, a little bit hotter core on that shot. 28 pellets versus 33. Is that a significant difference? I don't know. So here with the Black Cloud, you have those flight stoppers that are supposed to cause more damage. You have the flight control wad. Over here, you just have more pellets. Which one's right? That's for you to decide. But both very interesting. Both are gonna kill birds. I think we gotta shoot that ULTRASTEEL, see if it comes out any different. Before we throw up that last target, one thing I noticed, and that I don't believe these turbo targets analyze, is distribution. So I'm looking here at the Speed-Shok, and I'm seeing it's a little bit bigger spread overall, it seems like, but I'm seeing some gaps in here. First, we got a smaller, more dense pattern, it seems like here for the most part. I mean, there's a few little pockets just on the perimeter, mostly with the black cloud. But I actually like this pattern. If it was more true, I like this pattern better than that one. Last but not least, we got the ULTRASTEEL. Now, the black cloud and the Speed-Shok were both 2-shot. The ULTRASTEEL is 2s and 4s. So we should have a higher pellet count. Looks like 190 pellets in here versus 156 in the Speed-Shok, 141 in the Black Cloud High Velocity. So ULTRASTEEL. All right, we got the ULTRASTEEL, 190 pellets. We're gonna run through this real quick. We're gonna shoot them one more time, really, really fast. But here's what we got. This pattern, 4.9 inches to the left. Everything we shot was to the left. 3.2 inches low, actually. The other two were high. 30-inch circle, 82.6%. That is the highest out of all three of these. 20-inch circle, 62.1. That is the highest out of all three. In the 10-inch circle, we have 20.5, which is right in there. Slightly below the Speed-Shok, slightly above the Black Cloud. What I'm noticing here, though, is good percentages and more pellets. That's because we threw those number 4s in with the number 2s, so we end up with 190 pellets total. So we're getting a lot of good pellet count in this circle. Pattern distribution looks really, really good. The only kind of gaps we got are towards the perimeter. It's looking solid in this core right here. If we take the core of the pattern, that's looking really, really solid. Just some kind of perimeter gaps out here. Similar to Black Cloud, these two look better than the Speed-Shok. You can't just shoot them once. We're gonna shoot them at least twice, but we'll make this really quick for you. All we gotta do is change targets and shoot them real quick. You ready? Boom, boom, boom. And here's our results. Quite a bit has changed. Speed-Shok performed better. It shot a higher percentage, 89.7 at 30-inch, shot a higher percentage at 20-inch, shot a higher percentage at 10-inch than it did the first time. Okay, do we see that variation in the other shots as well? If we go to the Black Cloud did a little worse. Pattern percentage were lower in every category. Look at that variation. Variation, variation. One did better, one did worse. If we shot a third time, what would happen? That's why we have to shoot 3 to 5 with the gun, choke, and ammo combination. You're probably thinking, well, Steve, why aren't you gonna shoot 3 to 5 of these? I'll tell you why. Because you're probably not using my gun and my choke combination or my ammo. So if I did it and just said, here's the ammo to go with, this is number 1 by far, you would just trust that. You would throw it in whatever gun you're shooting. You're not going to necessarily see those results. So it's a little bit of a challenge to you to get out and actually do this yourself. Have some fun, experiment, and play. Yes, it's going to cost some money, but you'll learn a lot through it. You're going to learn more by taking what you saw here, then going to put it to test with your gun than you would if I came to a firm conclusion in this video. Guarantee. ULTRASTEEL. I like this. We shot very, very good point of impact. 0.8 left, 1.9 low. It was low both times. Left, we've consistently been left. That could be a gun thing. We had a slight increase in performance. 30-inch circle, we went to 86%. That's really good. 64% at 20 and 25% at 10 inches. You pair that performance with the fact that we have a higher pellet count, 190 here versus 156 in the Speed-Shok versus 141 here, I believe. We're getting more pellets downrange at good percentages with good pattern distribution. I'm really liking this ULTRASTEEL, but putting it on paper isn't the only factor. Let's conclude this video with a few other factors and see which one makes the most sense for you. So shooting paper is one good thing to look at, but we're not shooting paper when we're out hunting ducks or geese. I'm gonna throw some clays here, get some crossing shots. I'm gonna shoot 3 rounds of each in the same order we shot the patterns. Dead duck. Missed that duck. 2 out of 3. Federal Speed-Shok. Didn't seem to hit quite as hard, but definitely a dead duck. Definitely a dead duck. And that one got away. Totally my fault, as with both these shots. First thing I noticed, significant recoil difference. That high velocity, it punches a little bit more. Now, to the ULTRASTEEL. Miss on the first one. Ooh, that hit nice. Ooh, not much left of that one. So obviously, you're gonna be able to kill birds with all three of these. If you're looking for a little more velocity, Black Cloud has you covered. If you think that those flight stoppers are gonna have more terminal damage, maybe it's worth the extra money for the Black Cloud. What do you think? Comment down below. If you're looking for cheapest and yet a great performer, Federal Speed-Shok. Is this what you'd go with? Comment down below. Or how many of you would really like to try these double stack ULTRASTEEL? I'm really curious because I think it could be a good combination if you have a little bit shorter range birds, smaller birds, and a mix of bigger birds at further distances. Probably able to take them down both reliably. With this, it gets you a higher pellet count, which I always like. I think, you know, a number 4 shot, if that hits the head, you're gonna take down a duck. You're gonna take down probably a goose in the head as well. More pellets means a little bit more likelihood that you're gonna hit those vital areas, but bigger pellets, you're gonna have a little bit more power, but you're not gonna have as much penetration. So there's really a big debate, and it's hard to answer. If you came here hoping that I would lay it out and say, this one's worth this is what you should go with, it's hard to say. I wanna know your opinion down below. Which one of these makes the most sense to you? I'm kind of liking the ULTRASTEEL, but it does come with that higher price point. But I think Federal does a good job of having different product offering at different price points to see what makes sense for you. You're gonna have to buy some. You're gonna have to get out there and shoot some. Hope that you found this video helpful. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, whether you're in the field or in life, you're only gonna hit those shots you're laser focused on. So live target focused. See ya.